Right then, it is Patreon podcast time. Thank you guys for your support as fucking usual. Should get that out of the way. It's in short bit, innit? This is the one that we was going to talk about with what's going on with the transfers, essentially. So there's 5 people that have been mentioned to me in terms of transfers and what's going on. And there was also one that was mentioned to me yesterday, which I've not heard of too much, which is Van der Beek. And someone just said, keep an eye on the rumours about that one because the interest is real. So you're like, all right, I'll keep an eye on that one. Well, that's it. They're not like, we definitely signed them. There's a common misconception about what's going on with transfers and stuff, and people generally get it wrong because they'll be like, we're definitely signing that guy. Well, do you know what? Without having spoken to the player, the agent, the selling club, the buying club, United's owners, the manager, every single one of them people can fuck up a deal. I've said this to you guys a few times, but I'll never forget it because it's key to me. The first transfer rumour I properly ever really got wind of that was big when I was sort of either blogging or doing video or anything was the RVP one to United. Me and Ben have a mate that worked at the time at Bridgewater, he still works there, at a Bridgewater hotel. The Bridgewater Hospital, which is where United used to do the blood work for transfers that was coming in. They now do it at Carrington, so we've lost that little thing that we had. Weirdly, Frank Lampard was actually booked in for ages to have a medical for United. So it wasn't when he was signing for City, it was for United. And the first one that we got was RVP to United. And we put the news out on my old website that I had, MMA Latest. Van Persie's booked in for a medical at United. Got absolutely fucking panned. He was in Germany at the time on pre-season with Arsenal when we broke it. People absolutely obliterated us for it. But it came off. There was a few more that we'd had, similar. Fabregas' agent, who come up to me, his mouth, my ear, it'll be David Moyes' first signing. So I put it out as that. And obviously he wasn't, but I think the truth has kind of come out with that that was on the case. United fucked it up completely. Moyes and Woodward fucked that up completely. There was a director, it's 2014 summer. I can't remember who the other one was. It might have been under Herrera, or it might have been somebody else that we signed that summer. He said we've signed Luke Shaw, Ander Herrera, Tony Cruz. I'm sure it was them 3. All done. He was in the away end at Southampton away, that last game of the season. After Vidic had retired, or he was leaving. Saw him in the away end at Southampton. He was like, here's what's happening. That's who we're signing. That's who we've got. Jobs are good. So I was like, sound. Now, obviously, Tony Cruz never happened because Louis arrived and was like, don't want him, weirdly. I don't fucking know why. So all of this that I give you, you'll never see me go, that's definitely happening. Because I'm not the guy signing him. And even if I am the guy signing him, as you saw a couple of summers ago with the Morata stuff, I think you guys know the relationship I have with certain agents. And Herrera's agent was saying, look, I've just been on the phone with him. He's on holiday with Rojo. And he's been saying, Morata's signing. Morata's told him he'll be a United player by Sunday. United played him. United played him hardcore. As soon as we got the nod from Lukaku, we was like, in a bit, loser. And we took Lukaku instead. So even the players themselves don't necessarily know who they're signing for at times. It's a funny old game, all this with the transfers, but I give yous what I get. It's as simple as that. That's what this whole thing is about. Now, I do like it if it stays on here, rather than the dickhead that we had last summer that was just fucking leaking everything. I will get fucking burnt if that's the case. And people won't tell me stuff, and then you guys miss out. So please keep everything that you hear behind here, or at least offline. So here's who we're hearing about. The exciting one is Sancho. Now, there is interest from United for Sancho, but Dortmund supposedly want 100 million. United do not want to pay, or aren't prepared to pay 100 million. So if they can negotiate that, I spoke to somebody yesterday who goes, I think we'll get him, and we'll probably do a deal around about 80, 85. And but they also said, if that's the case, he'll be the only big signing that we get. So you go, okay. Don't don't necessarily desperately need a right winger. Other positions that we've fucking 100% got to fill out. What are we going to do about those? Sancho one's really curious, I think. Because if we sign Sancho, I think it represents that we're going in a certain direction. Now, the other one that I heard of, which is when somebody said, we've got a right winger sorted to me. And I was like, sorted to me would appear to suggest that it was all but done, which I don't think is the case. And I spoke to other people about Coleman specifically, because that's who it ended up being, that someone was talking about. Now, for me, Coleman's not necessarily a right winger. He is a left winger. And it was advanced talks, was what I got told, with Coleman. Now, Sancho you've seen loads of in the press. No shocks there. The Sancho one, I've also been told by a couple of the journalists that I know that the club have briefed that. Now, the rest of this list... No, sorry, Rice is the other one that was briefed by the club. The rest of this list, the club haven't mentioned. So the club could be putting this out as a smokescreen. The club could be putting this out to try and lower the price of the players that we're actually after, because we're like, yeah, well, as you've seen, we're interested in him as well. There's all sorts of fucking house of cards shit going on. I don't necessarily know if what I'm getting is the truth. I'll just give it you as I get it. That's it. So, Rice and Sancho are the two that United are briefing that they're interested in. I find that curious that Coleman and Cruz, essentially the same positions, but cheaper alternatives than both Rice and Sancho, I would assume, are the ones that we're hearing stuff's going on with. Is this a case of Morata Lukaku again, where we're interested in Cruz, but we'll tell everyone we're interested in Rice, just to throw everyone off the scent? Are we interested in Sancho genuinely, but Coleman is our backup? Is that a case? Coleman's actually won the league in every single place he's played as well, which is kind of mental. Don't think he'd win it if he comes here with us next year. And I don't know where Van der Beek sits into all of this. But those are the names that I'm hearing. The Coleman and Cruz sound like they're in advanced talks, definite interest. Rice and Sancho are what the journalists are being told by the club. And like I said, there could be any sort of reasons behind why they're being told those particular two players. There might be truth in it. The club might be, yeah, that's who we're going for. But doesn't it sound a bit funky that would be the two that we're going for? I don't get what benefit there is to the club to tell different journalists that's who we're going for. But sometimes they have. Sometimes we've absolutely been going for a certain player, and then we've told the journalists we're going for that player, and then we've signed that player. So, tricky game. But like I said, I'll just be honest with you guys. Whatever I get told, I'll tell it using the exact same sort of package that I get it, so you guys make your own judgment. But, the whole idea of all of this is I'll give you what I get, and you guys make the decision on the back of it. So, looks like there's a couple coming in, but I do worry about the fact that there's no centre-half in this. And obviously, Wan-Bissaka is the other name. Now, it's gone quiet on the Wan-Bissaka front. Has it gone quiet because it's done? Has it gone quiet because it's completely dead? It could be both, couldn't it? Or not going to be both, it could be either. The word was Aaron Wan-Bissaka wanted the move, United wanted the player. It seemed like we could get a deal done with Palace. City are interested in the kid as well. That definitely, I think, throws a spanner into the works. And actually, it's pretty fucking sickening, because if City do come in and they go, yeah, well, I've fucking Wan-Bissaka, João Felix and Bruno Fernandes, then fuck me. They've just secured their future for the next 4 or 5 years, and they can afford one of them to be a complete fucking dud, can't they? The numbers that them kids are putting up is phenomenal. They're light years ahead of us, and those three players are probably the best three brightest prospects. I mean, Bruno Fernandes isn't young, but there's some bright prospects from lower divisions, from lower level teams that are going to be brought into a team that's flying and will probably be fucking very successful because of it. We can't fucking... Fuck knows. It's bad. Someone's mentioned in the suggestions for Steve about doing Fantasy League next year. We'll absolutely do Fantasy League next year, and I'll try and sort out a top prize for it. I want to do the FIFA tournament again next year as well. We need to have some proper planning on that over the summer, though. We are, believe, just outside the semi-finals for those that are still in it. So well done to everybody that's involved. By the sounds of it, there's no fucker from the UK, or there's one fucker from the UK, excuse me, that's still in it. So we're talking like Australia and America. So I'm guessing you're probably not going to be you're probably not going to be joining us in the studio for that one. So, Fantasy League, let me know your interest in the comments. FIFA tournament for next season, let me know your interest in the comments. But I'm happy to do the same sort of thing, providing I'm still in the fucking studio this time next year, that we can put a final on for everybody in the studio. Jay, what does it take to make the Glazers wake up? By the way, let's get on with the questions. What does it take to make the Glazers wake up? What are we on time for that? Just keep an eye on that, make sure it don't pop off. And also the Zoom, I can't see it being on. 11 and 11. Alright. So yeah, onto the questions. What does it take to make the Glazers wake up? Well, dog's being an arsehole. I don't know if they will. If you speak to people who are Buccaneers fans, and people tell you about what's going on over there with their NFL team, they're the worst run franchise in the NFL. And you think, fuck me, that doesn't bode well for us, does it? Because there's a big case to be made that United are the worst run team in the top 6, which is hilarious when Chelsea are in that. I don't know what would make them wake up. They spent a lot of money last time we ended up in the Europa League to try and get that back, we broke a world record transfer fee, didn't we, to try and show that we mean business. I don't think we need that, though. Like, you can literally go pick up fucking Matt Doherty, Nathan Ake, and have a better fucking defence than we've got right now. You don't need to spend 150 million on people. There's better players in the Premier League that tangibly improve our squad beyond measure. Ryan, how do we raise 3 billion between us? I've got young Mitts in there working on fucking getting a podcast with Britain's richest man, who happens to be a United fan, and we're going to kidnap the little fucker and make him buy us, allegedly. Ahmed, are the Bruno Fernandes rumours real? And how do you reckon it'll improve the squad? Who would he replace in the starting 11? We might... He's a number 10 in it at the end of the day, so I think you might play at the tip of that 4-4-2 diamond, which is a formation I do think is our best, even though yesterday didn't really give a good showing of that. Do I think they're real? Yeah, I think we've scouted him. I mean, we've got that many scouts in Portugal because Jose was mad for it, that... I think the lines I heard was, there isn't a top flight game in Portugal that happens without us having a scout in attendance. There's no fucking way we don't know all about Bruno Fernandes. But someone either doesn't think he's good enough for United, or he's just that nailed on to go to City that there's no point in us even attempting it. Press are going to probably link us to him because it's an easy one to link us to. And yeah, he probably will end up going to City. But... good player. Like, is he going to score 31 goals in the Prem next season? I fucking highly doubt it. But he is a good player. And he'll probably add a lot to what City are doing. Luke, quadruple next season. A minor one with the Europa League. I haven't had an Ulster fry. What's an Ulster fry? Anyone know what an Ulster fry is?
Basically a full English.
A full English?
Basically,
Yeah, I have had a full English. Okay. Did the players give up on top 4 because half of them are out the door? I've seen a few people mentioning this, that Ollie's told them all they're all going, and they're all like, what's the fucking point then? Why am I asked to get this team into the top 4? But I can't believe that. I don't know what the fuck has happened. Realistic goals for United next season, get into the top 4. Fuck the Europa League, fuck the FA Cup, fuck the League Cup, get into that top 4. We have to get back amongst that. Look, fucking Thursday, Sunday's minging. It's absolutely minging. What do you think a 5-year plan should look like? This is interesting. I think we do a full video on it. Let me just write that down. I'll do that as a video over the summer, promise. and I'll look into it properly rather than just giving you a fucking off-the-cuff answer right now. Ewan, in the Europa League, should we just play the under-23 so they get games and prove what they can do? I would like to say yes to that, but I think there's a lot of pressure from the board that you don't do that. And if you look at what we played last time out, I don't think that'll be the case. Do I fear for Ollie already with the allegations coming that players switching off after his permanent appointment? Well, I don't think it's an allegation that the players switched off. I think the evidence looks like they switched off, but we don't know why they switched off. Where do we even start with the rebuilding process? Who do we keep for certain? I'm not sure there's anyone that you go, they absolutely have to stay. No one has really proved himself for me. I mean, fucking maybe Lindelof, maybe, but you know my feelings on the weaknesses that he's got as a footballer. He's literally just the best of the shit that we've got. I can make a case for everyone going, including Marcus and Jesse. I can make a case for everybody going out of that team. Everyone. We probably need 10, 15 new players, but you're not getting that in one window. You're not getting that. You probably, you're looking at 3 to 5 years to get that. Where do we start with the rebuilding process? You start with the back room. Manchester City started with the back room in literally within a year of when they took over the Mansour family. They brought in what the fuck's he called? Soriano and Bajiristan. Brought them guys in and started implementing certain strategies well ahead of time. Probably touted Pep quite early doors. Knew that they wanted to play this sort of style of football. Implemented it in the academy. Appointed new heads of the academy and fucking recruited every fucker to coach for them. Like at under 8s, they've got like 10 satellite teams around different parts of Greater Manchester. So you can't play football. If you've got a kid, he doesn't play football in Manchester without City knowing about him. Now, there's an element of that going on with our scouting network for the first team. But you can't tell me, if our scouting network is as extensive as it's meant to be, you can't tell me that we're fucking coming back and going, Tony Cruz and Jadon Sancho is who we should buy. Where's the gems? Where's the little motherfucker playing for Spartak Moscow? That's unbelievable. Where's the centre forward playing for Genk that we can go and snap up because he's going to be an absolute monster? That's proper scouting, not fucking FIFA scouting. Oh, he's good, yeah. Oh, you scouted Jadon Sancho really when he's got the most assists out of any fucker in the top 5 leagues in Europe? Well done. What a fucking gem you've unearthed. And it's going to cost us 100 million. Nice one, Bellend. Where was the recruitment of Jadon Sancho while he was still at Manchester City? Why wasn't Jadon Sancho told, we'll pay you a top dollar wage, just walk out of your contract or buy yourself out of your contract? What's going on with City? Dortmund signed him for 7 million. We're going to do 150, no, it's not even as it is, what is it? About 15 times that. Well, he's been there a year and a half. If Ed Woodward is a fucking good businessman, why are we buying back players that we already owned in Pogba for 90 million? And why are we paying 83 million, 93 million more than what a player would have cost us 18 months ago? That's not good business. Good business is to go down the Ajax route. Who's on a free? Who can we pick up that's on a free? Who's going to cost us 8-9 million? They don't all have to sell shirts. They have to play fucking football. If you're a fucking good businessman, make the best football team the world's ever seen. You'll have people queuing up outside to come and watch and buy anything with your fucking name on it. Bullshit. What's going to happen to the Thursday Club next year? We was talking about that this morning. In truth, I haven't got a fucking clue. Haven't got a fucking clue. I really don't. Possibly some sort of a watch-along or something that goes out an hour before the Wednesday or Tuesday. I mean, it's a pretty obvious one. We could try and get a sponsorship with Domino's. The 2 for Tuesday one's pretty easy integration in it that we could rock and roll. We're going to work on it over the summer and figure it out. Should Ollie be allowed to finish wherever the next 2 seasons if it means cutting the deadwood and building a squad? Yes, but they have to come out and say it. They have to come out and say, we're going to rebuild this whole damn thing brick by brick. And it might take some time out of the top 4 to do it. And if they come out and say it, otherwise, like, how do we know that that's just not going to fucking happen? Are there players in lower league you think would be good for United other than Neves and Wan-Bissaka's? Are lower in the league. Oh God, yeah, that we've already spoken a lot. Like Sigurdsson and Decore. Look, yeah, Ndidi would be quality. Idrissa Gueye would be quality. Decore absolutely would be quality there. If you told me I can only buy players that finish 10th or below in the Premier League, I make a better team than what United have got now. Which is a fucking joke, isn't it? It's an absolute disgrace. If you said, absolutely, if you said you can't buy anyone out of the top 6, but you can only buy Premier League players, not a fucking problem. I'll give you a right team. All day long. Any word on whether we're in for a centre-back? I can't believe he's not, but looks like maybe we are. I mean, like I said, Alderweireld for 25 million is a free transfer in today's money. It's fucking ridiculous if we don't go in for him. Here's a thought. Alderweireld, Manolas, Wan-Bissaka, Kieran Tierney, defence sorted for the next 5 years. It should be that easy, shouldn't it? You can literally go and pull out 100 fucking players that are better than some of the ones we've got. Sean says, I think Yuri Tielemans would be a super signing. What do you reckon? Exactly, yeah. We're not in the market that some of these players go in for some reason. Any word on Wan-Bissaka and Sancho? Yes, as mentioned earlier. Oh, here we go. Fucking Matt's question. Plug yourselves in, lads. Jesus fucking Christ. It's going to take me fucking 10 minutes to read this. You scream helplessly as blood runs down your leg from being... Come on, man. Matt, I can't read these. You're a milkman plying your trade in a town full of decrepit old bastards. You haven't seen a resident in weeks. The next house has to go... You go to has 19 bottles of milk on the doorstep. Well, it's not milk you deliver. Come on. Matt, I can't answer that, mate. I think you need help. Have you seen these questions? I'll show you in a bit. What flavour milk do I like? I like cow flavour. Is it flavour? I like milk flavoured milk.
Do you not like chocolate or vanilla or anything like that?
Yeah, but like my favourite is just regular milk. What is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job description at United? I would imagine manager. 64, 70, 66, 69 and 81. Average points per season 70. Is genuinely what this squad of players is capable of doing and nothing more. You yourself said De Gea was superhuman last season, potentially saving us 11 to 13 points, meaning the 81 was technically supposed to be 68, 70. Even in the Ole League table, our points average is 1.8 to 2, which means, again, another 68 to 76 points. Even if we win the league next season with 100 points, that changes our average points to only 74. Ole's job is to delete the past and start afresh next season on. All the results this season simply pushing us pushing our weight too far. So I have no problem if we see no youth, because it's more important to keep showing this board what 6 years of effort has done, which is effectively nothing. I have full faith that Ole will get it right next season, because I know he has successfully slapped Ed and Glaze in the face regarding their efforts so far. He will be back. The best thing that has happened this season, our board has been exposed and we finally got a manager who can do what is required. Just wait and see. Is he though? Because as much as, yes, Ole's a legend of the club, Ole definitely says the right things. It's like a fan being in charge. I think he's probably been a little bit unfair with some of the stuff people have said. I do believe he's technically good enough for the job. What I don't know for definite is if he's going to be able to compete with everybody else. Last summer, we've had David Moyes, who's a good, hard-working manager. We've had Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, who've got glittering CVs, probably the best available at the time in the world. But they've not been able to assemble the teams that they wanted. We obviously knew the season before last that Jose was all after someone like Perisic that could cross a ball, that could get into the final third and see something happen. With the sort of striker that he was going for, didn't get that. We played 3-5-2 all that pre-season, then we didn't get the player we wanted and we reverted back to 4-3-3. And then last summer, we finished 19 points behind City. We we sign nobody that improves the first team. We only sign people that are periphery to the squad. We needed first team signings. Look at Liverpool in the last year or so have gone, we needed a new centre half and a new goalkeeper. Boop. They added a bit of depth in the squad with Shaqiri. Not really done much apart from that. Oh, they added an extra midfielder in Naby Keita, who they all thought was going to be better than Pogba. The fact is they addressed their major signings and went straight into the first team. That's what you've got to do. Is you've got to eliminate the weakest link in this team every year until there's very little in terms of weak links. And if the weak link is the depth of the squad, you add into that. This is my issue with every fucking person that gets on the knees down for Poch. Pochettino's starting 11 is very good. They've even got backup centre halves that are better than all of our centre halves. You'll often see Vertonghen or Alderweireld not start. Fucking both of them are better than what we have as first choice. The whole back line is better than ours by a comfortable margin. Dele Alli is the most wanked off player in English football. Harry Kane's got a fucking MBE without winning anything apart from fucking awards. If you go off the hype of every player that's in that team, Son, I actually think Son's a fucking phenomenal player. I'd love to see him at United. Lucas Moura, Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen. These are players that are being spoken about having massive moves to Barcelona, Real Madrid, a lot of them. That's a fucking very, very good starting 11. Yet, they've lost 13 times this season. For me, that's on the manager. A better manager doesn't lose all those games with that team. I think you've got to get better players in for United. You get better players in and everything else will follow. But you've got to be allowed to clear the decks because there's some shit in there. Three-headed Hydra. Do I think Ollie lacks the courage to tell players like Jones and Young, who he probably has friendship with, the hard truth, they're not good enough to play for United? Fellaini was easier because he never personally knew him. Did he really know Jones and Young, though? I'm not sure he did. Got this feeling he may lack the stomach to deliver hard truth to the players that he has ties to. Well, he's got to fucking find it because there's a lot that need fucking off. Do I think the players should be force-fed banana pizza as revenge for the shit we've been eating for 6 years? Not going to do it. King Nathan compiled the list of players who should stay and who should go. The outs are a list of who think will most likely leave, plus a few I want to leave. You take a look at the staying list, how on earth does that squad compete? Your out list is Valencia, Young, Jones, Smalling, De Gea, Sanchez, Pogba, Marshall, Herrera, Lukaku, Mata and Darmian. Yep. It could be all of those. And we had a rebuilding process on before the likes of De Gea, Pogba, Marshall, Herrera, Lukaku, Mata all go. We'd be absolutely fucked if all them were allowed to go in the same window. But I probably agree with you, that list at some stage needs to go. Now, the stay-in, 3 goalkeepers, Romero, Grant, Henderson. 4 goalkeepers, and Pereira. Delo, Lindelof, Bailly, Rojo, Tuanzebe, Shaw, Mitchell, Fosu Mensah. It's not... I don't think it's good enough. Matic, McTominay, Andreas, Fred, Garner, Gomez. It's not good enough. And Rashford, Greenwood, Chong, Lingard, forwards. Not good enough. Just not good enough. Kay Vora says, don't remember if you've discussed this before, but what would the implications of a no-deal Brexit be on the club? Apparently the pound would crash, which would fuck us on our loan repayment. Could that be why the Glazers didn't spend much last summer and might not spend this summer? On paper, fuck me, that's terrifying. The loan stands at 400 mil or whatever it is in dollar terms. In pound, it could balloon to a much higher number if it crashes. How will that affect the club in your eyes? Does the valuation of the club matter? We're valued in dollars. We're on the New York Stock Exchange. Does that massively matter? Our income would change, obviously, because that would be in pounds. I have no idea what the impact of a no-deal Brexit would be. And I can't even really be asked trying to find out, to be honest. There's enough on our fucking plate without worrying what's going to happen with that pile of shite. But yeah, it might be one of the mitigating factors behind what's going to happen with the fucking loan that we've got. Can you imagine, man? Can you imagine being called a good businessman, when you buy something with money that isn't yours, you repay 1.5 billion back and still own 2/3 of what you owed in the fucking first place. What the fuck? Which means, at the current way of what we've paid versus what's been paid off, 660 million it was when we first took it out. Now it's 400 million. So you could be looking at that. We've paid 4.5 fucking billion back for nothing by the time we pay this shit off. It's absolutely scandalous. It's absolutely scandalous. Shouldn't be allowed to buy anything like that. It's a fucking joke. Quays, do I think Ollie has led us down a garden path when it comes to him being able to be ruthless? We've all seen him put trust in the same people who perform badly again and again and not playing youth who couldn't do any worse. There's politics at play, which for me doesn't really answer the questions, and I don't really think that they're valid arguments for it, because if he is the man in charge, he should be able to pick whichever team he fucking wants, and there's no way you can tell me that Ashley Young's deserved to continually get picked at all. Not a fucking prayer. But here we are. I don't know what's going on with him. I hope he's got to be... We're going to stay over the summer, aren't we? Hopefully that the politics is less out of the way in the summer and he's able to do what he needs to do. Connor, is there any realistic chance Ollie could replicate what Sir Alex managed to do in terms of winning titles with owners who only want top four? Or do we not have much of a chance until or if we get new owners who have ambition to be successful and win titles? Because to me it feels we're in a vicious cycle of pain at the minute. No, I don't think you're likely to see that unless you happen upon a class of 92 or a Messi, and that's going to be what carries the club through that period, because Fergie was essentially one of those, wasn't he? Yeah, I think we're in the shit for a while until they get sold. With the Glazers attempting to get more involved with the club and considering Rio Ferdinand to be our director of football, are they though, or is that them putting that out in press to calm everyone down? What is another cheap alternative to someone with experience in the area? Look, how much would it cost you versus one Jadon Sancho transfer, right, of an alleged 100 million? You could fit out the back room with absolute fucking Jedi ninja level motherfuckers that was going to absolutely dominate every area of business off the field for the club, couldn't you? If I give you 100 million, you could go out and recruit anybody with that, can't you? Just start fucking throwing 20s on the ground until they go, yeah, fuck it, I'm in. And that would save you money in the long run. But we don't have that foresight or that ambition. So we're left with fucking nothing. Yesterday when Ollie said there's a chance you've seen the last of some of them players, who do I think he's referring to? Fucking all of them? I don't know. Hopefully at least half a dozen of them. You know who I'm thinking of first, foremost, and he wears the fucking armband far too often. Marks out of 10 for Ollie since he came in. Third in the form table since he came in and crept us into a top 4 race until week 37. Has to be considered a successful half season for him. Yes, I think when you put it out in paper like that, when you average out what he did, it was decent. Wasn't amazing. Wasn't shit. It was decent. It feels bad because it's ended really fucking bad and it's the wheels have fell off it totally. Expecting so many out, do I think Ollie only plans a few wins and keep a lot of room for Angel Mason and aiming for his own class of 92? I'd hope to be the case. Out of all the podcast questions I've asked you, which is your favourite? The one that I couldn't answer today. You're a sick man. Ryan, have I seen the McTominay video? The only player who looked hurt, and I can see why Jose loved him. Look at Arsenal yesterday and they all look hurt, whereas United look like they don't give a toss. How worrying is it? Is ability worth more than attitude? No, ability isn't worth more than attitude at all. And you saw yesterday with us, as we saw for their goal, the walking back from so many players, it's fucking unacceptable. I expect a team that's losing to work hard and work harder. If nothing else, you never just let your head go down. You just fucking work harder. Fix it. Barbie Sean, what sort of content are you expecting Stretford Paddock to be doing over the next year or so? What will distinguish it from the other fan channels? We will distinguish it by it being more about the presenters, the variety of presenters than about one or two presenters. And I'm hoping that the content won't be the reactionary clickbait sort of bullshit that you see on a lot of channels. And I'm hoping it's just good, light-hearted entertainment It's got funny stuff. It's got insightful stuff, and that's it really. It's just better quality with everything that's happening out there. I really like what the Anfield Wrap do with Liverpool. Obviously, the actual content of what they do aside, I like the sort of shows they put out and generally the kind of vibe that they put out, apart from it being Turbo Scouse. So that's what we're going for. Content-wise, I've got a schedule planned for my channel, MMA Latest, and Stretford Paddock as of this morning, right the way through to August the 18th. So we just need that BetBull deal to come in and we'll push out all of that. Will, it's 442 Diamond. What you think we should be played? Oh, in 442 Diamond, who I think should be played at the 10? Matter probably doesn't have the pace, although I'm happy he might still be around next season as a rotation option and an influential person in the dressing room. If we were to sign someone for that position, who do you pick? I saw Dybala linked today. Definitely just paper bullshit, but I think he could be good in that position for us. I'd have to go and have a real think about it. I'll do a shortlist on that over the summer. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I think someone probably a little bit more aggressive. That's what don't fit with me. He says he wants to be the fastest and most aggressive team in Europe, but then plays Juan Mata who's not fast or aggressive. And is someone like Lingard actually probably will thrive in that position. What do I think of signings like Havertz and Tielemans? Far too few Instagram followers for Ed Woodward. Probably exactly what we need. Pappy says right now all his words contradict his actions. What will change? You're right. I hope pre-season fixes a lot of sins. We get rid of those with the bad attitudes and we work hard on the fitness for what he wants to achieve and how he wants to play next season, and we fucking hit the ground running. That's not going to happen if we get Europa League qualifiers. It's going to fucking suck. We've been saying this for a couple of years. We need players who fit. This will be a big summer. We expect a lot and the results are always the same. We don't get what we need and we keep the players who we don't want. Yep. There's only one constant throughout this, isn't there? Mr. Woodward. Which football pundit cliche pisses you off the most? It's got to be the down tools. Jamie Jackson's outside. Would you mind going? Mates, we go and get Jamie Jackson, please. All the fucking cliches pick me off. The fucking famous Anfield night's probably a big one. Any idea if the 25% pay cut for not getting Champions League reported is legit? I've not really felt like I could ask the people that I could ask about that, so I haven't. But it wouldn't surprise me if that was something that was the case. I wonder if it's like match day fees are 25% less in Europa League versus Champions League, but like Premier League's probably the same maybe. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask over the summer if I get a chance. Right, that is it from me. Thank you guys again for your continued support. Hopefully the mural's going up tomorrow, so I'll do a little vlog about that. And yeah, there's all sorts of shit happening for the summer. I'll see you in the next one.